let's roll. Co-pilot on the passenger side, be so fly. Yeah, she so lit, we so high. Just me and my chick, yeah. Just me and my chick, yeah. Co-pilot on the passenger side, be so fly. Yeah, she so lit, we so high. Just me and my chick, yeah. Just me and my chick, yeah. She give me a. Yo, what up, y'all? Welcome to another one, man. It's your boy Rob One, and this is Sparking Conversation. And y'all know what I do each and every week. I get up here and I talk to some of the world's most interesting people. And tonight I'm gonna do the same thing. All right, it's gonna be a great conversation tonight. I'm looking forward to talking to my guests because like I said, we like to. I know for me, I like to make sure that I showcase entrepreneurs, right? People who actually really get it in. And what I mean by that is that they took a vision that they had, or they believed in themselves enough to invest in themselves and put themselves out there to the point where, they just really excelling at what they do. And my guest tonight, she's an awesome, and I mean amazing, bake. I mean, like she makes some cakes like look like you're not even supposed to eat them. It just look like pictures. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be great. Plus, she has a lot of interesting things going on in her life that has happened in her life. So we hope to get into some conversation with her and figure it out. So y'all just stick around for that. But like I always do each and every week, y'all know I gotta give a special shout out to all the people that download the audio version of this platform, because you're the real MVPs, and I definitely appreciate y'all. I say this every week because it's important. We know that most people and most things, when it comes down to these platform things, people go viral and they do all these things based off the visual, but they forget like podcasting is an audio thing. It's not necessarily a video thing. And yeah, it helps a lot to be on video and stuff like that, but for the most part it's an audio thing. And so the fact that people download the audio version of this platform all over the world to listen to it, all my people that drive logistics, all my people that's in their cars, or people who just like to consume great information from podcasts, they download us. So I like to give a shout out to them each and every week to make sure that they hear it, because they're not necessarily watching us, right? So double shout out to y'all for real. Also, we got to always give a shout out to the people that make it happen, people that sponsor the show. We want to always give a shout out to Java Burn. Java Burn is one of those supplements that you put inside your coffee, and it helps enhances the feeling of your coffee, right? We already know that, caffeine gives people like this boost, but sometimes people crash. But with Java Burn, it's one of them things for people who are coffee lovers, and, they might work at a job all day when they have the desks that stand up. So look, this will give you the motivation to want to stand up. Standing up in place helps you burn calories too, for all those people out there that's concerned about your health. So, check them out. All right. The link will be in the description, so y'all could click on there and get more information about Java Burn. All right. Also, we want to make sure that y'all shout out to Aroma Air for oil, fragrances, sprays, lotions, and shower gels for all the people that like to smell good, but the alcohol version kind of breaks you out, dries your skin, and do different things. Then, go check them out. They are an oil-based fragrance platform, and they use aloe as the base for their oil, not cotton oil, not vegetable oil, and all that. So, if you're allergic to aloe, I'm just going to throw that out there early, but if you're not, then this is perfect fragrance, and it'll last on you all day long. And so that's super dope. All right. And then last but not least, y'all already know what to do. Collective Wear in the building. And if y'all need a Sparking Conversations t-shirt because y'all want to help support the boy, y'all know what to do. The link is in the description. Y'all go to the shop and click on it, all right? And we'll make some things shake. I definitely appreciate all the people who have supported so far and bought Sparking Conversation t-shirts. I definitely appreciate y'all, all right? If you're watching us for the first time tonight, man, please, if you're watching us on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel, hit the notification button so you guys know whenever we keep dropping we go live every week, every Tuesday, and I always have a great conversation with people. And also I drop clips of the conversations that we do have when we go live. So it's always dope to kind of reach back and hear some of the key points that we come up with, all right? So I definitely appreciate you all ahead of time for subscribing and all of that. All right, so before I bring my guests on, y'all know how I do. I got to give y'all what's going on for the week. It's a lot of things that's happened this week. You know what I mean? Like every week, right? Since the year started, we know that life has been changing for a lot of people. It's not like it's been changing to the point where they anticipating it. It's one thing, You know, a lot of people like to try to be prepared for everything that happens in their life because they think that at some point, you know, they envision the way things are going to go. And life doesn't always go that way. Change is inevitable. That's the one thing that's always going to be around. It's the only thing that's going to be constant is change. And life has been changing for a lot of people. They've been up in arms. There's been so many things going on. But I want to start the show off with talking about a certain thing that happened that I was unaware of. But, you know, they have people out here who like to take, you know, things into their own hand. We could say the law and all that, but it's just a lot of things that go on. So with wanting to protect children, we have all kind of people who emotionally right now are invested in the protection of children, the welfare of children, making sure that we can do everything that we can to protect the children because we know that they're under attack in all shape, forms, of fashion, right? So they had a guy who used to call himself, well, I'm saying used to because he's no longer with us, but his name was Bupak Shakur. Now, I ran across this cat because, you know, of course, doing research and trying to make sure that I stay up to date with giving y'all that info on Sparking Conversation like I do. But what he was he was a child sex predator hunter, right? Where he would pose as children or young adults or whatever, and you know, and grown-ups would solicit to try to meet up. He would be the person that would meet up with him, expose him, videotape him, and all that other thing. But come to find out, I guess he did it to one person too many, and he got shot. He got shot and killed. And the reason why I wanted to mention this is because not so much to talk about it in a way where we talk about, you know, vigilante style justice and stuff like that, but you got to kind of really look at the way that the world is going and understanding that it come a point in time where people are just going to get tired of dealing with things that the way that they are when it comes down to, you know, just seeing how people are affected every day by those who want to prey on others. And I just want to give a shout out to him, condolences to his family and all these other things, because we knew that he meant good by what he was doing. I guess you just got to be really prepared for that because some people are really not willing to just stand there and get caught for doing stuff like that because they know it's wrong. So double shout out to him and, you know, rest in peace to him and his family. But I only say that to say, you know, all of us, it's our duty as adults and to make sure that we protect the children at all times, right? And do our best to try to monitor and govern what they do, not so much as control, but just be in the know, right? Parents, we got to keep up with everything. We got to keep up with the slang. We got to keep up with whatever drugs popping. We got to keep up with the dances, whatever music they listening to find out what they got going on out here. Because I promise you, you don't want to be one of them ones that look up saying that you thought your child was one way, but really they be influenced by something totally different when they're away from you, right? So let's pay attention out here. All right, so another thing that's been going on, y'all already know they burning down Teslas, they doing all that, everything else that's going on. We get that. The one thing that I do want to say though is about all that is that, you know, you guys, you know, emotions, like being controlled by your emotions is going to always keep us set back. I don't know why we feel like anything different than that. Our emotions, as long as people know how to control us by our emotions, they're always going to keep us in the place where they want us. And I'm shocked. You know, a lot of the comments that I've been getting on the platform, especially on TikTok, other videos that I've been putting up based on certain perspectives I've been saying, it's been a lot of people who've been in the space wanting to comment, but they comment from such a negative place. Like they automatically feel like, you know, the first thing they start off with is calling out your name and all these other things based on your opinion. Like, first of all, I appreciate you guys leaving comments because it helps the algorithm, but I don't care about your comment. Like, it don't do nothing for me, yo, like at all. Like, I'm sorry. I don't even engage with y'all because it's corny. Because check this out. Anything that I've said about anything that's going on in the world, it's always going to be fact checked. You guys can always go do the research. The name of this platform is called Sparking Conversation. It's to spark a conversation. It's not for me to be a all know it or know it all or Obi-Wan. I'm saying that I know in our community, it's things that we don't pay attention to because we think that it don't affect us when it really does. We don't have to get into politics. I keep telling y'all that. That's cool. You could be a person that don't like politics. You can not like, I don't care. Like, that ain't my business is not your business what you like or don't like. But it doesn't mean that it's not affecting you. whether you like it or not. It's affecting everything you got going on. We got people out here mad because they talking about taking income tax away. Like, y'all really mad that you do you want to continue to pay income tax? Like, are you crazy? Like, if they could come up with a way to make sure that they could fund what they need to fund and run the country without taking from us, and y'all don't want that, so y'all arguing about that, that's crazy to me. But that's okay. Your comments is not going to change the way that I feel. That's the part about standing up for yours and standing on what you believe in. Because, like, look, let's be honest. You know, you could find a thousand things to be mad about, but can you find the same amount of things to be happy about? Because, commenting on my page ain't gonna help you. I'm gonna be honest with you because I don't really care what you say. You know what I mean? My point is only about the people and people who think like me, people who want real freedom, people who understand that it's a cost to do that, but that cost mainly is paying attention, information. You know what I'm saying? Not being moved by emotions, not be jumping out here because of a bunch of us. They got us looking crazy out here, y'all. And it's not always a black thing. Like, just because we share skin color don't mean that people share our interests. Like, that's corny. All skin folk ain't your kinfolk. We know that. But anyway, we're not gonna get too much into all of that, right? We're gonna change the channel because I have a guest on tonight, and we got to get into some things because entrepreneurship, and whether you want to believe it or not, having a business, having a vision, having a goal, having a purpose, and being okay with going and really believing in that thing to the point where whatever you do in life, you make sure that you line up with that purpose and you put in the effort to make it shake. You don't just let everything else around you tell you what you can and cannot do. And my guess I'm getting ready to bring up, right? I'm gonna be honest with you. Like I told you all in the intro, the cakes and stuff that she made, it don't even look like you're supposed to eat them at all. Like I said, they look like pictures. They look like they're supposed to be on a wall. They look like they're supposed to be in a museum or something. And I know that artistically, what it takes for you to be that much of a visionary, that you could take what's in your head and actually use your hands to create it. If that's not a gift, if that's not a superpower, I don't know what is. I know a lot of us want to fly and walk through walls in order for us to realize that we got a superpower or not, but that ain't it. It's a lot of things that we all are able to do that results into being a superpower. We just don't look at it that way. So let's do this. Let's bring my guest on up so we can chop it up real quick. Let's see what's going on. Cherie, what's up? Uh-oh, I think you muted. I think you muted.
Let me.
How
Can you
about?
hear me?
Yep, we got you now.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm good. We are finally here.
Yeah, I know it's been a long time coming, and I know you've been nervous all the way up. Don't know how this is gonna go, but we gonna make it through. I promise you.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
so what we're gonna do is before we get started, I just want you to do me a favor. Just introduce yourself to the audience, and then let's let them know why you're on the platform this evening.
My name is Sharice Campbell, and I am the owner of Sweet Sage. And Sweet Sage is a company that does baking and catering and all things in between. And I am in the DMV area. But my cakes travel, so I've sent cakes down to North Carolina. I've done cakes in Philly, so yeah, it's good. It's good.
And that's amazing because, like I said, it's a lot of people who have like certain type of gifts and talents, right? But they don't
Hmm.
always necessarily feel like it's something that they want to pursue, right? Because I mean, a lot of things take time and it takes to be able to deal with the public. So what got you into baking in the first place? Well, because you don't just bake, right? So
I,
you're a caterer, so you make
I
all
do.
kind of things. So what got you into the culinary arts, should I say?
Mm, I would say my grandparents, my grandmothers, they lived in North Carolina. So,
Right.
when the summer came, that's where you went. But I've always enjoyed just sitting in the kitchen, watching them. Pretty much everyone in my family cooks. So, I think it's been engraved. I mean, when I graduated, I had my fallback uh, career was gonna be in cosmetology, and then I started feeling like all of my family was coming over on the weekend to get their hair done. But after I graduated, I went to culinary art school, and kind of stuck with it. I was already working with Marriott during high school, so it kind of created a easy platform and guide me along the way from the front of the house to the back of the house, and ultimately I ended up staying in the back of the house,
Gotcha,
which is the
gotcha.
kitchen.
Okay, because I was going to say, so for those people who don't even know their way around the kitchen, you know what I'm saying? Like, what is the back of the house? But I think, when it comes down to that, I think that's cool because um it's just like things like people do like with their hands, right? Being good with your
Hmm.
hands. Most people who discover that they're good with their hands, very seldom do they go get the extra education on it, right? Because some
Hmm.
people are just be good at something and they'll go with that. It's a lot of people. I'm not saying it's a wrong or right way, but I understand the difference in between like expanding your horizon, right? Because you grow
Hmm.
up learning how to cook a certain type of thing based on how your family eat, but learning
Hmm.
how to cook everything and anything and come up with different things, to me, I think that's interesting. Because you go think about it, like, how they say people don't season. You know how they say that about certain skin folk. They be like, "Yo, they don't season," but then they be the ones that be in the back of the house when you go to certain restaurants, right? And you love the restaurant, but you have this misconception that people, because of how they look, they can or cannot cook.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
why? I know baking and is a little different. So how did you transition, or did you just incorporate it all?
So let me see. Can I give it a long version, short version? It was just like it was a particular. So it was in 2018. I want to say it was 2018. Um, and it was just a year that I kind of felt like where I wasn't where I wanted to be in life. As a woman, like I already had a career, but I just felt like I kind of was like in this little depression mode, of feeling like I wasn't where I wanted to be in life. Like, okay, and my kids, I'm just going to work and I'm coming home, and that's pretty much it. Although I love my job, and my day job is at a church where I'm the food service director. So I'm very thankful for that. But and God will always put you in a place where you need to be, right, for encouragement. So I had
Right.
a coworker who was just like, "Hey, there's gonna be a race or something at Howard University, and they're looking for. Why don't you just sign up?" So I did that, and I had just started my business. So I always try to pick a date that is important to me, that has significance. So I chose my son's birthday. First, it was my birthday, which was January 11th, and that passed by. I didn't make it, so I was like, okay, the next important date would be my son's birthday. So I was just like up on the computer, in February 17th, like I got to meet this deadline. So I did it, but ultimately I ended up going. It was a super hot day, and I literally sold product to like three people, but uh, one customer, and I'm terrible with checking emails. I'm gonna just say that. I ended up checking my email, and she was like, "Your cake was so delicious," and she had brought a slice of strawberry crunch and parley pound cake, and she said, "Oh, and by the way, my cousin is doing DC Cupcake Wars, and I think you should sign up to try it out, right?"
Right.
Um, and so that was in June, and the competition was in July. And I went and I ended up winning. So it was great. And
Wow.
yeah. So that's pretty much winning. And then, so that the competition was on a Sunday. And pretty much everything that could have gone wrong that Sunday did go wrong. Like for me, they tell you that you have to be at the venue at a certain time, and it was a Sunday, and my children were to sing at church, and they're like, "Oh, we need you to drop us off," and I'm like, "I didn't plan on that." So I ended up getting there late. I did tell a lie, a little white lie. I told the lady, "Look, I had a flat, I had a flat tire." And she was like, "It's cool, just come on." So when I got there, you know, other people were late as well. Um, got there, set everything up, and ended up winning. But the it was an amazing gift. But the thing about winning was meant that you needed to be ready to go on the news the next day, which was a Monday morning, and you had to take some product with you. So, that right there, being on the news definitely helped catapult me more followers and more customers and things of that
Right.
nature. But I will say that I have been truly blessed and
Right.
surrounded by people that love me, people that trust in my product, people that refer me to their friends. So yeah, I'm happy that I've got to be part of a lot of uh important celebrations for people, other
Yeah.
people in their lives. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. That's amazing because nothing solidifies, whether you're on the right path or not, is to be in something that you have no expectation from and it winds up working out in your favor. And
Mhm,
then,
mhm,
I recognize that too. Like a lot of times, whenever you're on the right path, a lot of people expect everything to be smooth, but that's not necessarily the case. When you're on the right path, sometimes you got to fight through it to make sure that you really want it, right?
mhm.
So to have that go on through that day and for you to win it, which is crazy because when I think about like a cupcake war, I don't know, you didn't mention this though, but how many other people was in there
I
competing?
think there was probably about 30 other contestants.
See, that's 30 other people. Well, 20, not, well, 30 other, right? You 31. So 30 other people who cakes ain't that good. No, I'm just playing. But no,
No.
but seriously, like it's 30 other people who came that day for the same thing. And you wound up being a
Mhm,
person that win it. So that says a lot about your product. You know what I'm saying? Especially about the taste. And I'm sure the presentation I already know is probably crazy because the stuff I seen on your Instagram, like I told people, you don't even look like you're supposed to eat that. You're supposed to just take pictures, keep moving. But nah, I think that's great because most people sometimes our purpose is not exactly what we think it would be, right?
mhm,
Like some people may not know, like even for you, like cooking, that's like you bringing joy to people. You helping people through a memory, right? Where there's people who are going to remember these days or these dates or these events, and you are a part of it. Regardless if you were connected to them, by blood or not. Just the fact that
mhm,
you had your product there, and I think that's amazing because everybody has some type of gift,
mhm.
but whether they recognize what they're good at as a gift or not, that's the hard thing. Because
Yeah.
most people want money. Money is I guess it's the proof of the reward, I guess, for what you're doing. I mean, people look at it that way.
Mm, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily I will say creating and doing things for other people, particularly within the last few years, it gives me a different type of comfort and joy.
Right.
Mhm.
And I think that's
Because
it,
look,
right?
yeah, yeah. Because when I tell you I have some last minute customers, like, people that have supported me from day one, and they might call tonight and be like, "Hey," and some of them, they don't call me Sharice, they just call me Sweet Sage, and they'll be like, "Hey, Sweet Sage, like, can I get a cake for Saturday?" And I'm like, "But you know what? I might push through, but I am learning boundaries." So,
Right, having to say no too, right? Like sometimes,
right.
like, yo, nah, y'all gotta start hitting me 2 weeks in advance. Stop playing with me. I got other stuff to do, right? But that's the thing when you in demand, right? It becomes a thing where some people get burnt out, right? Because at that point, it is
Mhm.
no longer about the love; it's people in demand now. So now it makes it more like a job, right? Like, okay, now I really got to do this, and you want to do the best job possible for people because you
Mhm.
want them to continue to keep coming back. So, I can see how that can take a toll on people. But you seem to have gotten it down. So how are you with your boundaries? Like now, are you more of a, do people kind of get a little upset with you or what's going on? Or do they understand now that you have to say no? Because, business owners, they always expect us to say yeah because they're paying.
Mhm. Um, it depends. I'm trying, like I said, I'm trying to learn balance. Let me just be honest, naps help me a lot during the day. I take naps, but because there's been plenty of nights where I'll stay up to 12 or 1 o'clock working on a cake just to try to get it done, and then I have to turn around and I need to be up at 5 a.m. so I can get to my regular job. But a lot of times it depends on the occasion. If you just like, I just want to take cupcakes to work, I might say no. But if you're like, oh, it's for a birthday or, something really I'll probably do it. But I'm really trying to, I'm not going to say scale down my workload. Um, what I've realized is that I don't do much socializing, right? So I'm trying to
Right.
be a little more social because that's a key component to your overall health as well. Um,
Yeah.
so it just depends. It just depends.
Yeah. You got to focus on you too, right? Like, um, just because it's stuff that we do and we probably do it at a high level, it doesn't mean that's just who we are, right?
Mhm.
So having those moments where you could take time to yourself, decompress, do the things that you like to do, and as well be social, being around other people, getting other energy sometimes because you pour out so much into other people when you are in service to people, right? You're
Mhm.
constantly emptying your cup because it's a part of you, and then at times, like I said, it'll turn people off. They'll get burnt out because it's no longer fun if it starts to become more like a job. But
Mhm.
I've noticed too that um having boundaries will allow you to be in a position where things will not overwhelm you because it's okay to say no, right? It's
Yeah.
it's okay, and it's okay to be okay with having to say to yourself, I dedicate these hours to this, and then for this is what I'm going to do. Because we get to a place where when things start picking up, now we need help, right? So now we got to hire people. So now we got to move things around, right? Because eventually we all want to get to the point where we might could do well. I'm saying for you because I'm not making cakes, but that you could be in a Walmart, right? Like your cake could be
Mhm.
in there, like your cake could
Mhm.
be in mass production where what you do with your hands can solidify your time so you're not juggling a 9 to 5 and your passion at the same time,
Mhm. Mhm.
right? Because the ultimate goal is to be free. And I mean, I don't know how you feel about that. What do you think? Because some people, when I say certain things about that, I think a lot of people look at their job as a security blanket because
Mhm.
is there because it comes a time where you could be really busy a seasons for everything, right? You could be really busy here, and then next thing you know, you're not, booking no cakes for a few months. You know what I mean? And then
Right.
it's like, yo, what do I do? But have you ever thought about just jumping in full fledged and making it shake?
I have thought about it. I think I think my biggest issue, right,
Hmm.
is me having to step away. It's different. It's different when I'm there and I'm making the cake and I'm frosting the cake and I'm doing what I know I should be doing. Because the moment I step away, it doesn't matter how well you train someone. Somebody's always they're gonna try to do something their way. And I think that's where I have a problem. I have a problem with stepping away
Right.
and just letting someone do it. Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. And since we're on this conversation, Um, I've also been blessed to do, some things with DoorDash Mart Store, with their accelerator
Mm,
program. So that's one of the things that
uh-uh. Yikes, she might have hit a button or something, y'all. Don't go nowhere. She'll be right back. Word. Um, until she comes though, all of you guys that are watching, if this is your first time watching, and if you don't mind, if you're watching on YouTube, just subscribe to the channel for me. That'd be greatly appreciated. I do go live every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I have amazing guests on, and we do a lot of different conversations, right? So thank y'all so much for joining us tonight with Sweet Sage. So hopefully she'll be back up in a second. Might have been something going on with a touch of a button over there. I think she's on her phone, but um, it's coming. It's coming. But yeah, please, y'all subscribe to the channel, and yeah, we're gonna keep it moving, right? Um, I definitely appreciate all the comments too and all of that. Danny, what's going on? Yeah, definitely. I appreciate you checking in with me. That's dope, yo. A lot of you guys that are on tonight, I like to oh, she's back. Here we go. Here we go.
I have no
Hi.
idea what happened. But so that was one of the things that a lot of people brought up during the program, which is like just stepping away. And I think for me, money is important, but um, the product itself is what's most important for me. Just for it to always be the same.
Yeah, as far as like the quality, the
Mhm.
taste, and all of
Mhm.
that. Well, do you like and here's the thing about that too, because I realize, you know, they say we be in our way, right? For the most
Mhm.
part. We stand in our own way of what we want to do, right? Because sometimes we don't feel like we should take our hands off of certain things because we know exactly how we want it, how it's supposed to be done, and it's a reputation that goes along with it, and a name
Mhm.
and things like that. Um, I've noticed too that it comes a point in life where it's just certain things that are just in you to do, and regardless of the way other people may view things and stuff like that, I don't know, it's just some things it just feels better when you're doing it yourself. We might, or maybe you might could help people just make the batter or something. I don't know, maybe like use the little whisk things or whatever and stir the batter, you know what I mean, and you do everything else,
We
like
can
I
have
don't know.
a big industrial mixer. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Or have somebody, like the little cups for the cupcakes, they just pour the batter in there. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But they could do something along the lines to help you out. But have you ever thought about just doing, cooking full time though? Or have you done that before? Because that's the thing that I think is the most interesting. Is about that whole analogy that they say about your parachute. Like you don't know if your parachute really work unless you jump, right?
Mhm.
That's the thing they say. So I battle with this myself. I'm not, I'm not just asking you this question because I'm just trying to fill out what the energy is. You know what I mean? But like, have you ever thought about just full fledged, just jumping off the diving board and just doing what you love, and letting your 9 to 5 be just that, and
I have. Well, that was kind of the path that I was hoping to continue on a few years ago, and then like my whole life changed, so now I have to restructure my life. But yes, I've definitely, most definitely thought about it. And I don't know if the issue is just me making time, because a lot of things for me, it needs to be written down. Like I have to write it down. I have to see the plan. I have to be able to work through the plan or know how I'm going to work through the plan. Um, and sometimes with Sweet Sage, I think from day one, I kind of just jumped in, right? Uh,
Mhm.
and I've slowly been learning throughout the course. And it's still definitely not perfect. Uh, but it's been more so of a learning thing. And probably if I just took the time even if it's a week or two, just to focus on Sweet Sage and what I truly
Right.
want it to be. Um, I'm sure it could work because there's a lot of, I mean, I have a lot of customers, and customers call for food items, and there's the customers that call for cake. So, um, yeah, it could work. But like you said, I would need to hire some people. Uh, but yeah.
Yeah, because I think that's the thing about the way that we are able to have that work life balance, so to speak, right? Because
Hmm.
that's the most important thing that most people don't take into consideration when it comes to their mental health. Our
Hmm.
mental health has affected us. We suffer through so much trauma, PTSD from different things that we go through, and it changes us, right? Like life changes for a lot of people, and you
Hmm.
have to keep going. And sometimes the things that happen to you be so left field and so off the track, that you balancing yourself and getting back in that space where you can even be free to express yourself. It's a struggle,
Hmm.
right? But because some people look at their lives and they say, yo, forget what I was going to do for myself. There's a thing out here that goes around that really makes people try to make them feel selfish, right? For believing in themselves, or make
Hmm.
them feel selfish for having the choice, or saying to themselves, like, yo, I want to do this I want to do this. I want to do this for other people, because people will look at your job that you have, your 9 to 5, and be like, you got that good job. It's doing this, that, and the third. Why would you want to go do this? What if people don't this? And what if people don't that?
Hmm.
That's why you can't tell big dreams to small minded people. And you can't tell everybody what you got going on, right? Because, you get that type of energy from people who don't believe in themselves, right? So I always ask people who have a vision or a purpose, what does that look like to them to really fully be living in that, right? Because um bills, the, it's been a lot of things that has been the forefront of people's lives, right?
Hmm.
Children, family, whatever else. But bills is the one that takes everybody's place, whether we like it or not. Them bills, and it's time for the bills, they come first. They come first before everybody, so to speak. You know what I mean? And now that's the thing that keeps people in a certain type of mindset, right? Like, yo,
Hmm.
no, I got to stay here because I got to make sure that these bills are paid, but not knowing that, yo, if I jump out the window, my bills will be paid. Sometimes about having faith. That's what I wanted to talk to you about too. We got to talk about faith a little bit, because, you know, um, it really does take a real type of faith to, like, you know, be able to believe in yourself, to know that even when you fall down, you got to pick yourself back up, because
Hmm.
sometimes the things that you fall from don't be your purpose or your dream. It be other things in your life that
Hmm.
changes you, right? So how are you when it comes to faith? I think a lot of people would appreciate, hearing you come from a place of how do you view faith in your life right now when it comes to everything that you're doing? Because you've been through a lot.
Uh,
Like,
so I will say that faith is number one. Like I do my morning devotion with a group at work every morning at 9 a.m. Um, but I truly believe that God prepares you for all things,
right,
the good and the bad.
right,
Uh, and I tell people, like, during COVID, a lot of people, yes, people lost, loved ones. I lost some loved ones down in North Carolina. Um, but it also gave me the opportunity to sit and study a little bit more and get closer to God. Um, and I tell people, like, I think I would have literally lost my mind um, had I not believed and, trusted in Him to, just take care of me and my sons and, bring us through. So,
yeah.
yes, faith is. Yes, very important for me.
I apologize. I didn't mean to make you get emotional. I just know that it's a thing that, for all of us, having some type of connection spiritually, right? Because we already
Mhm.
know that our flesh is going to be attacked every day with the things we
Mhm.
got to go through, right? Every day. So having a spiritual connection to understanding that the things that we can control, that's what we do. And the things that we can't, we have to allow that to be, and give that over to the power that we trust each and every day. Because look, I know it's a lot of people who don't believe in this and don't believe in that. And I
Mhm.
always say that ain't my business what people believe in. Right? Because
Right.
people don't believe in something doesn't mean it's not real. But the one thing that I know that is real is that no matter what, faith is the one thing that's going to take us through everything that we go through. Because some people, things that we deal with on the physical space, right, in the flesh, it's hard to deal with. Right, memories is one of them things that I know some people wish they could just control like a remote, like turn the memory off or on or skip it or archive it. But some things that replay in our heads, it's hard sometimes, right? We got to
Mhm.
literally force ourselves not to think those things. And sometimes those are the things that put people in a depressive state where they don't push forward,
Mhm.
right? And the only thing that they look forward to is bills. And that's why I can't stress it enough that whenever I talk to creatives and people who are in that space, that we always talk about mindset, right? Like we always
Mhm.
talk about that particular thing, because I want people to know that's watching, that will watch the playbacks, that they're not the only ones going through something that they felt like they never knew that they would
Mhm.
go through, right? No, it's just a lot. So what do you like, even when it comes down to that? Let's say this, because there's some picky people out here in the world, and you cook and stuff for people. And have you ever had clients and stuff where they wanted all these different revisions, and once they seen your joint, they thought of something else? It's like, could you do this now and all that? Have you dealt with that?
I have and so I have one customer, and at first it used to bother me that she ordered the exact same thing every single time she did an event. But it's gotten to the point it doesn't even bother me anymore because I've grown to learn that the menu actually works. And I'm gonna just tell you, it's the menu. The menu is it's gonna be some salmon skewers, it's gonna be some chicken skewers, it's gonna be roasted potatoes, green beans, a gluten-free pasta, some shooters, and one vegan dessert. But when I tell you it works because, you have you have two options, good options. A lot of people don't eat red meat. Some people that don't eat salmon or seafood, they're gonna eat the chicken or vice versa. Some people gonna grab both. But the menu works because I used to go, and I've been doing the menu for her for at least 3 years.
Wow.
And I used to say to their contact person, like, "Hey, you don't think she wants to try this or that?" And her reason is because it's she has a gluten allergy, right? So it makes sense. But I would just be like, it's just so boring. But you know what? It works. They pay me and I'm cool with it. I have it down to a science now. So I don't even argue. But the thing that I do now is when I get a request and it seems like it's gonna be a whole bunch of back and forth, I just don't have the patience. Like if it's can you do this and
Gotcha.
can you send me a picture of something that you've done like this? And I just like, nah, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that.
Right. Yeah, nah, because that's a thing. No, that's a thing. You
Mhm.
being able to say no, because that's what I mean by, like, when it comes down to money, um if that's the motivation for most people, they'll just deal with the way customers come, because they want to get that money.
Mhm.
versus having a certain level of like integrity, right? And saying like, yo,
Mhm.
I do this and I do that. But if you want to see pictures, you could go on my Instagram, go on my
Mhm.
social media, help it count. You know what I mean? Don't have me send you no picture to your phone where don't go to my Instagram, like a picture, help the algorithm out. Like do something where, go do that if you want to see stuff. So no, I get it because people do that a lot with most things, right? They
Mhm.
so into, well, I'm paying for it, so it gotta be my way. And it's like, no, you go to Burger King then. You know what I'm saying? They
Yeah,
the only
yeah.
ones who say that.
And then, a lot of times, like, I'm always thinking ahead, and it's just like the moment that you agree to do whatever it is and it's not exactly how they want it, then it's going to circle back and it's like, well, I wasn't happy and I think that you should refund me some money or whatever the case may be. So no, we're not even gonna go there. We're
Yeah.
just not even gonna do it.
Yeah, we're not going to do the refund people because, it's just certain things that I noticed that people will try to get over on you. Like, they'll take little
No.
stuff like that and try to get over. But yeah, you having that balance of being able to say no and discernment whenever you can, read the energy from the people that that's trying to do business with you. No, that's another gift. We gotta have it. We gotta allow discernment to help us out. I know in a lot of relationships, they always say women got women's intuition and they feel like us as men, we don't have nothing. We need a GPS for everything. But we definitely discernment is a thing that comes from no matter what the gender is. It's
Mhm.
if you're in tune to it, it's not a gender based scenario having discernment because that's all it is. It's not that. It's more of a thing of, like I said, being connected to having some type of spiritual base, and not being able, because religion too. I know it's a difference between spirituality and religion, right? Religion I
Mhm.
have people following things. Spirituality I have you finding out things. So for me, that's the difference to me. Religion, people follow that, they stick to that, and they don't vary outside of that. Having a spiritual connection is you being able to see things from an outside perspective, where you
Mhm.
can have a good balance between flesh and spirit. So that would be my thing. But yeah, being able to tell somebody no, man, stop playing. I live in that space. It'd be like, oh yeah, it's a way I do it now too. They'd be like, oh, you need that? Like, okay, well listen, I'm probably not going to be the person for you, but let's look up and let's try to find somebody that can help you because I don't want it to seem like I'm too good to do certain things. It's just that it's certain things that it ain't for me. Even if it's for me, it ain't for me. And I've learned to have to do that. So that's good hearing that come from you because look, everybody don't have that. I mean, I'm be honest with you. I had a guy
Mhm.
on my platform who he helped people. He's sort of like a counselor, but he does it more in a spiritual way where he helps
Mhm.
people. And a lot of people, he found out that a lot of people were dealing with tumors and all kind of other type of physical things that were happening to them, all because they don't know how to say no,
Mhm.
right? Because
I can.
people around them always expect from them and they do exactly what people expect and they never say no, but inside they hate that they doing these things for people and it affects your body. And then boom, next thing you know, he shows them that they start telling people no, then their diseases start going away.
I can
So
believe that. I I
yeah.
I I, I really do because people are so stressed, and stress really can elevate other diseases and things within your
Hmm.
body. So I'm a believer of that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's why I say mental health, even if you can't find somebody to talk to, and things like that based on, maybe judgment or, however that is, I always try to encourage people to find some type of outlet because you're right. Stress is something that people just deal with on the inside. right? You know, some people have a great way of hiding the fact that they actually going through some things.
Yeah, yeah.
I wish it was a way, you know, that we did have access to um and I don't know how that would go because a lot of people expect people that are in a personal relationship with to be that
Mhm.
for them. And sometimes that's not even good either because you know you get in an argument and then somebody use it against you. That's why you used to pee in the bed when you was 8 because you did, you know, stuff like that. So you can't tell everybody stuff that you know, some of your deepest things that you want to get off you sometimes. So I don't know. You frozen? Yikes! I think you are. Um, yeah, I think she's frozen, y'all. It might be a little connection thing. Let's see. She probably pick back up in a second. So shout out to y'all that's watching, man. I see there's a bunch of y'all that's jumped on. You know, be feel free to jump in the comments, y'all. If y'all got anything y'all want to add to the conversation that we having, jump in the comments, man. Let me know what y'all thinking about the conversation so far. If y'all getting anything from the conversation, does it sound like, you know, it's a thing or not? Yo, let us know, man. You know, the comments are wide open. I see the people on Facebook and the people on YouTube, y'all. If y'all feeling like it, drop y'all some comments. Tell me where y'all at. I know Philly checked in not too long ago. Wherever y'all at in the world, you know what I'm saying? If y'all want to drop that in the comments and let me know where y'all at, that'd be great to know where y'all watching us from. I know she's out of the DMV area, so hopefully there's some DMV people in the building checking us out. You know, and if y'all are, you know, drop it in the comments, man. Let's see what's going on. She should be up in a second. I saw it jumping in a minute, so we'll give her a few minutes to get on back up here. But for the most part, for those of y'all that's watching, like let's be real, you know, mental health is a thing, right? It's a real thing, and for some of us, you know, a lot of people don't have outlets to deal with the things that they go through emotionally, and they use other vices and things to try to, you know, escape it. Word. All right, Lord, we got Lord and VA in the building. What's up, VA? How y'all doing out there tonight, man? Word. I never even heard of that part of VA, so that's dope. Yeah, so I think for the most part, all of us have to find different ways for us to balance our work and our life, and still be able to believe in yourself. You know what I'm saying, Sandra? How you doing? Yeah, so we want to, you know, find ways that we could really actually believe in yourself, right? And not allow the things that you've gone through to deter you from, you know, the fact that you do have a real purpose. Yeah, we got JP from Maryland in the building. Maryland, what's going on with y'all? And yeah, so I believe in that, y'all. I believe in the fact that we all have a duty to ourselves to take care of ourselves. And as much as so many people around us might depend on us for everything, we still have to take time out to help ourselves. What they say when you on a plane, yo, if the plane go down and the oxygen mask drop, make sure you put your vest on and all that first before you help somebody else, you know. And that's a real thing. You got to be willing to help yourself before you can help other people. So, you know, that's one of them things. So let me reach out and find out what's going on, y'all, because it may be more than that. Um, Hold on, y'all. So I never answered the phone live on air, so this is so dope, y'all. Yeah, what's going on? Yep, that's me. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Oh, really? Yeah, I am. Yeah, all your people up here, they checking in too. They checking in from VA. We in Maryland. We everywhere, y'all. They trying to figure out where you are. It's the first time I'm okay. Well, just try to refresh it, and then or you know something. I'm gonna talk to the people for a little while longer. Okay, no doubt. All right. All right, y'all. So y'all got it. Y'all see it. I had never done that before in life. So we answer the phone live. So she said she's working on getting it together over there, and she should be back on in a second. So we got Georgia in the building. Okay. All right, Jamal. Double shout out to Georgia in the building, y'all. Definitely appreciate y'all on the check-in. So tell me, y'all, do y'all think that like what we doing? We understand that, like mental health is important, and as well as making sure that we take care of ourselves. If any of y'all agree, put it in the comments. Let me know, because some people are make us feel selfish, and that's why talking to Sharice tonight too is important, because whenever you're in the business of service and other people, sometimes people forget that you need to be service as well. I don't know if that sounded right. It might not, but I think y'all know the point, what I mean by that. Um, yeah, Lawton VA's in the building. What's up, y'all? VA in the building. And so, yeah, I mean, I think it's important. Y'all, for the most part, I think a lot of people would agree that, at some point we can't just, allow our lives to be so engrossed with everybody else that we don't focus on ourselves at all, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna give it a few more minutes and see if she could jump back on. If not, it's all love. We will run back a part 2, and we will get her back on in that way. There she go. Look at God, yeah, right on time. Right on time. There you go. I bet. So look, we got some of your people that done checked in already. All right. So, like I said, we have Maryland in the building. We got Lawton VA. And I was saying to myself, look, I never even heard of Lawton VA, so that was dope. We got North Carolina in the building. We got Faye saying you have to take time for yourself. Yeah, definitely, Faye. You got it. You got to. You
That's my
got to.
mama. That's my
That's your
mom.
mother?
That's my
Oh,
mother.
wow. Hey, mom. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you're right. You got to take time for yourself, because, if you don't, everybody will take advantage of you. And then what would you have left? It'll still be our fault, like, if we don't do that.
Mhm.
So, yeah. So now that you're back, let's get into this thing about, when people, so whenever you do catering, is
Mhm.
there like a thing where you do either or when it comes down to desserts and main courses and dishes, or is it a thing where you package it together? Because I'm
So
sure that's a lot.
no, I normally send out a menu and I send them the entire menu, which is everything that I can do. And I normally let people pick what they want. So that's typically how it goes. I did a family reunion last year, and the person had fried chicken, baked chicken, fried fish, ribs. I don't know if she had barbecue, she had greens, she had green beans, she had mac and cheese, she had candy. So yeah, whatever. I'm not doing no package. Whatever you want, just pick it and we can work it out.
Oh
Because
yeah,
there's
that's
some
dope.
people, yeah, because there's some people that just call. Like I had a customer over the weekend. She just wanted a pan of mac and cheese and some candy yams. That's it. So,
And just get up, right? Yeah. So that's what I'm talking about. Being flexible, being able to,
hmm
what I'm saying, be able to maneuver and just be like, yo, that's all right, I got you. Like, or
yeah.
not forcing people to get stuff that they probably
hmm
don't want. Yo, that's cool. We got a couple more people that checked in. We got Javar. He said, what's up, Chef Sharice? We got Hey Sweet Sage from Val, DMV Divas. All right, DMV
Yeah.
Divas in the building. Sound like a motorcycle click, y'all.
Look,
DMV
look,
Divas, y'all
don't
like do
look.
line dancing.
Let me just tell you that I went out for my birthday with the DMV Divas, right? Because
Uh-huh.
those are like my day ones. And they've
Right.
been, trying to get me to go out forever. So it's, I have
They
to send
turned
you
you up.
before, after. Before, after. Like, before pitch. Have you been to my regular Instagram page? The outfit that's in with them in the red outfit, that's the night I went out with them, and the outfit looked totally different after
That's
I finished with
crazy.
them. Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, they're a ton of fun. And they're older than me. So I'm supposed to be able to hang, but I couldn't hang. I could not
Hey,
hang.
listen, hey, you know what I'm saying? And with a name like the DMV Divas, you gotta stay. You gotta get you gotta get up early in the morning to think you're gonna outdo them, yo. That's a fact. Who else we got in the building? We got Donna in the building. She says mental health is incredibly important. Believe in yourself and don't wait for others to validate you. Very
That's
good
yeah, that's
point.
my mother-in-law. Yeah, yeah.
Mother-in-law, listen, very good
Hmm.
point. Because, speaking of validation, because they had people who, social media has given people a false sense of
Hmm.
validation,
Hmm.
right? They think because they get likes and comments and stuff like that, that's going to turn into support for their business whenever they put things out there. Then when they find out it doesn't do that, then that automatically makes them give up as well too. So yeah, looking for validation from other people outside of believing in yourself will hinder you. So that was great. That was great advice right there. We got let's see, Javar, what up, Rob? What up, fam? How you, man? Thank you for checking in, bro. I really appreciate you. For real. And then we got Jamar, he down in GA by way of Philly and Alexandria, VA. What's up, Philly and VA? Word. And then we got Colette. She's like, yo, love you, Sweet Sage. Colette DMV Divas in the Upper Marlboro, Maryland. Okay, so the DMV Divas is checking in. Word. I'm telling y'all, you seem like y'all do mad lawn dances and y'all good too. Word. Javar said, what's up? Javar saying, oh no, yeah, Jamar. He was saying, like, yo, we've got to deal with our own mental health for real. Being in the service industry, we quickly can get so consumed in others and forget ourselves. Big facts, fam. And
Right.
that goes for everything. Cause even your family, like you could tell your family no a million times. The first time you tell them yeah a million times. The first time you tell them no, then they hate you for life. So yeah, you definitely got to be willing to just check for yourself sometimes because people don't, they don't care. Let's say Sandra is in the building. She said Sandra, she's in NC. So definitely while you was disappeared, I asked everybody to check in, let me know where they was at right now watching us, you know what I'm saying? So that's dope. But yeah, so look, we before we get out of here, I want to make sure that people understand like how they could reach out to you, how they can check out your stuff and see what you're doing. Because I'm telling people, for all y'all that's watching, if y'all watching and y'all don't know her and y'all haven't been to Sweet Sage LLC on Instagram to actually check it out and see what's going on, I want y'all to go on over there and check it out. When I tell y'all the presentation is official, it's not no, you know what I mean? Like it ain't no Temu version of a catering. I promise you. It's not the wish.com version. She really be putting on. So I want y'all to go check her out. And if people really want to get in contact with you where they could, you know what I'm saying, get a hold of you because you get things everywhere. I mean, we know you in the DMV area, but you'll get it to where they need it out if they need it. So how can people get in contact with you to figure out if they want to, work with you?
So they can go on www.sweetsagecatering.com. Or, I get a lot of DMs on Instagram, but they got to hit that contact button because I'm not always checking those DMs. So there's a contact button on my Instagram business page. So, which
Okay,
will take them
great.
to the website. Hmm.
Great, great, great. So for all of y'all that are watching, if you haven't seen any of her work, please go to Sweet Sage LLC on Instagram and check out everything that she has up there. And as well as if you guys want to give her a shot and check out some of the things that she has going on, y'all know what to do. Make sure y'all click the contact button. That way, y'all could get a hold of her and we could figure some things out because, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. It's a lot of things that people say they do, and they're not really that good at it. She's amazing at what she does, y'all. So, um,
Did you eat the cake at the birthday party?
I sure did. I was just getting ready to say that because I actually had some of it, so I ain't even going. That's why I'm sitting up here saying like, yo, word, because Vernon and them was saying like, yo, yeah, she made this, that, and the third. Oh, word, I bet. So I went and tasted it for sure. Like, yeah. And sometimes people cakes be so sweet. You know, like they be really extra sweet, icing and all that other stuff, but yours is good. It was right there in the middle where it needed to be. So I ain't even gonna lie. I that's why I'm supporting you. I want people to come check you out. I want people to come, get busy because you made other things besides the cakes too, right? No, you only did desserts.
I did, yep, I did our cake and our cupcakes. So the
Yeah,
black and
yeah,
white
yeah.
cake and cupcakes, yep.
Hmm.
Which I need to post.
Yeah, because
I'm
visually too,
terrible.
it
I'm
was crazy.
terrible.
It was crazy.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
you might need a little help. You might need a little
I need
help.
a lot of help for free. I need some free help.
You need some interns, right? You need
Right.
some
I need
interns.
some interns, somebody that's good on a computer and
Yeah,
a
because look,
website.
listen, if they could get in and get down, like I said, some people make it work for commission. It's easy to pay
Mhm.
people off of things that's selling versus coming out your pocket. So I don't
Mhm.
know. Hopefully, somebody that's watching might think about that and be like, you know what? Yeah, let me figure out how I can help her because. It's always better to bring money in than to take it from somebody if you can help them. You
Yeah.
can make money. I say that to people a lot. Like, well, why let somebody pay you 100 when you can make 1,000, right? You know, but yeah, it was an amazing conversation. I'm so thankful that you took the time out to speak to me. You have so much going on in your life. Like it's so much that we could have talked about. It would have took us 3 hours to be up here. But thank you though, yo, because like I said, I wanna always be a platform that supports entrepreneurs and people who are in business and people who believe in
Mhm.
themselves to the point where they put the where they really focus on it, put it out there, execute at a high level.
Mhm.
Because Vernon and them was telling me all kind of stuff that you've done and things. So you got real supporters and cheerleaders in the background. They be
Yeah.
breaking it down. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So I'm like I said, I'm appreciative of your time. Thank you so much for jumping on. And is there anything that you want to leave the audience with before we get out of here?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. The day
Yeah,
has come and
facts.
it's over, and I can sleep like a baby tonight because I won't be anxious and nervous. But
That's so
I'm really
funny.
just thankful for all of the support. My day one customers, my customers that, saw me on the news and they're like, let me order. And Brenda, I go meet her. And she's like, Sweet Sage, how I pay you? And like, just take the cupcakes. I'm gonna link back up with you. And she just stood there looking at me. But I gotta stop that too. But
It's
I'm
funny.
just thankful. I'm thankful for all of my supporters that believe in me and that encourage me. What you don't know is that I normally have one or two people, when I'm struggling with the cake design, that I might call and I'll say, hey, let me hit you on FaceTime because I need you to look at this cake for me. What does it need? And they always come through. So, yeah, I'm just thankful for people that truly believe in me and want
Wow.
to see me, they wanna see me do good because, when I honestly tell you that it was difficult, after my husband's passing, just walking into a kitchen, like, I remember when I walked back into work and it just felt like this null space and uh
Yeah.
my customers they let me go about 3 months with all the encouragement and then they're like hey like when when you gonna
You
get
in
back
that
in the
kitchen?
kitchen
Yeah, what
right
we
when you gonna
doing?
get
Yeah,
back
like
in the kitchen so yeah I'm thankful and I kind of ease back into it um but it truly gives me joy and happiness by projecting it to someone else during their time.
yeah,
So,
man. And that's amazing because like I said, you've gone through a lot. Um, especially with the passing of your husband and all the things that was surrounding that. And it's just a lot. And so the fact that you are motivated and you pushed through and you overcame and you were able to balance your mental out and I'm sure you still have those days where things are tough, but you're able to still move on and keep going and everything that you have going on for your boys and still being able to service your customers at a high level to the point where they really be checking for you. That's amazing. right? And I just want
Right.
you to stay encouraged, and I want you to know that, um, going through certain things that you don't expect and still making it out on the other end, that really goes to show how strong you are and how much of a hand that God has on your life. Because you said it earlier, God don't give you nothing that you can't handle. And so I wish everybody had that sentiment, because certain things that people go through, they don't
Hmm.
handle it well. So yeah, just thank you for being open, right? I mean, we didn't want to talk about too much of that other stuff because we know, you're still dealing with things. But for the most part, I'm thankful that you were able
Thank
to
you.
come on and share everything. You know what I'm saying? It's a real inspiration. And I hope that whenever you are ready to talk about, other things after they get to a certain place, you'll come on the platform and we can get into those conversations. Because I think, your story will help a lot of people. For them to see this conversation that we're having now, to knowing exactly what you've gone through, and they'll be able to see that, God really do operate in the miracle working business.
Hmm. He
Yeah.
does.
Yeah. So other than that, thank you so much. I appreciate you. We're gonna talk a little bit off here, so don't go nowhere. To those of y'all that are watching and have watched tonight, thank y'all so much for joining us. Hopefully you all guys hit the subscribe button on YouTube if you guys are on YouTube, so you can keep up with every time we go live. We go live every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And like I said, I have some of the world's most interesting people. And so I thank y'all so much for joining us. And also, I want to make sure that a special shout out to the DMV Divas, because somewhere along the line, y'all lit. I just want I don't know. I ain't never met y'all. It's just something about it that lets me know that y'all lit. I just, the way y'all showed up in the comments, y'all lit. So I just wanted to give y'all that shout out. But to everybody else, y'all know the vibe, man. Y'all catch me each and every week right here. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to have that for y'all. All right. And I always say this each and every week, and I want to say it this week. Don't forget, if you don't believe in yourself, nobody else will. Right. So
Mhm.
until next week, y'all, peace.